Are you wondering how to start learning to play the drums? Well, this groove is where you start. So there are three things involved in this groove. We have the hi-hats, the snare, and the bass drum. Let's start with the hi-hat. So this is what we're playing on the hi-hat. We're playing eighth notes. Now, it's called eighth notes because, as you can see, there are 8 of them in a bar. You play them on the hi-hat with your preferred hand over the top of the hand that plays on the snare drum. So I'm right-handed. I play the hi-hat with my right hand over the top of my left hand, which plays on the snare. Now here is how you count eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's put that onto the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's move on to the snare drum. Now the snare drum, which we play with our non-preferred hand, only plays 2 times within that bar. Here's where it plays. On the 2 and on the 4. Now let's practice playing the snare drum while we count out loud. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now all we do is substitute the counting for right hand on the hi-hats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the last element needed to create this groove is the bass drum, and just like the snare drum, it plays 2 times like this. So it plays on the 1 and it plays on the 3. As before, let's play the bass drum along with our count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now again, let's replace that counting with the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that we can play the snare drum and the bass drum individually with the hi-hat, let's try putting them all together. Now the best way to start this groove is to begin with your hi-hat hand and start playing those eighth notes while you're counting out loud or counting in your head, but the important thing is you are counting. Get those eighth notes going for a bar or 2 bars until you feel ready, and then introduce the bass drum and the snare drum underneath. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 And that's it. That is how you play the first drum groove. Now, while it seems super basic, it is the starting point of almost all drummers. And if you can familiarize yourself with practice on playing eighth notes on the hi-hat, snare drum and bass drum in varying patterns underneath, there are literally thousands of drum beats that you'll be able to play. Look at them all. So get practicing, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you on the next one.